Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Gettysburg College for another edition of Facebook Live. We're glad you can join us again this afternoon. My name is Braden Snyder, and today we conclude our preseason coverage as we take a look at the Bullets women's soccer team. We're joined by the team's senior captains this afternoon, and seated to my, your far right is Hannah Theurer, an English major and writing minor from Darnestown, Maryland. From her forward position, she has been one of the key figures in the Bullets offense during her career, scoring 9 goals and handing out 4 assists over 54 games and 30 starts. To my immediate left is Julia Ramsey, a midfielder and an organization and management studies major from Malvern, Pennsylvania. She's coming off a strong junior campaign, earning first team All-Centennial Conference honors and second team All-Region honors. She's also a 2-year starter who has played in 53 matches and made 39 starts over her career. So welcome, Hannah and Julia. Thank you for taking your time to join us here on Facebook Live. Before we talk about the season, something we've been doing with some of our other teams is just kind of touching base, catching up with what you've done since we last saw you on campus, kind of getting just a snapshot of what you did over the summer. So I don't know if either of you want to kind of catch us up. Sure.
Yeah. So this summer I worked for a PR firm in New York called Brew Media Relations, and I pretty much did their overflow work. My days varied day by day. My typical day would include, I think it depends. I did like briefing documents. I would send out reports of the daily news in the tech world, and it varied from there.
And I worked in D.C. at a consulting firm called KCIC. Basically, they just manage other companies' product liabilities and insurance. And it was a really great experience, real-world experience, and loved everything minus that hour-long commute. But it was a really good summer.
Well, it sounds like you both had a pair of great experiences and getting a real taste of the working, the real world, and glad to hear that worked out for you. Turning to the upcoming season, the women's soccer program at Gettysburg has really established itself really as one of the top teams in the Centennial Conference over the past 6 years. Actually, the program has won at least 10 matches and qualified for the Centennial Conference playoffs every year since 2010. 2 years ago, the Bullets broke into the national rankings and received an NCAA tournament bid. So, Julia, Hannah, you've been a part of these teams that have had so much success here in the past couple of years. What do you think are some of the factors that have allowed the team to compete at such a high level here during this stretch?
Yeah, I got it. So every year we obviously lose like a ton of great players, but I think like with the spring season and new freshmen coming in, everyone steps up right away, and it makes it really easy for us to be successful. Especially, this year we obviously look at defensively and how we're such like a defensive-minded team, but every year we lose such great players, but we have this year freshmen and juniors that are really, really stepping up in the defensive end especially.
You pretty much said everything. And I think every year, Coach Garrett tries to emphasize, you leave a legacy. And I think every year we just build upon that. And we have such great players that leave their mark on the team. And so when you come in as a freshman, you know what we're about, and just builds upon that every year.
Well, you've been with the team, it's around 2 weeks now since practice started. Enough time to kind of get a feel for things, and you've had a couple of scrimmages as well. First impressions, how are things looking?
Great. We have a lot of young talent this year. We had 14 freshmen come in, and we were actually just talking to our coach yesterday, and he was just saying, you guys have made his job so difficult this year, just because all of us are so technically good on and off the pitch. It's just been so easy to work with everyone, so it's been a great experience so far.
And I don't know if the team has discussed goals yet for the upcoming season. maybe not, but if so, Hannah, what do you think team's goals are or might be for the season?
I mean, of course, we want to win the Centennial Conference and then get a bid to the national tournament like we did 2 seasons ago. And then just on the field, I think one of our main goals is being more of attacking-minded team. We had how many double overtimes last season? Yeah, so a lot of 0-0 games, and I mean, we sometimes have difficulty scoring, even though we usually outshoot our opponents every game. But so I think that's one of our huge goals is be a more threat offensively.
And to that goal, Julie, I don't know if you could touch on what do you think are some of the biggest keys to achieving those goals and kind of things that you feel the team needs to do on a day-in, day-out basis throughout the season?
For the past 2 weeks, we've been really working on getting into the attacking third, and build-up play has been really important to us. We've just been doing all different types of movements and trying to find those gaps between their defense and to get it through to whoever's up top. So we've been really trying to emphasize all those runs, and we've been working to it, and so far so good.
And you touched on this earlier, Hannah. You talked about the defense. It's certainly been a strength for the team in recent years, really been the name of the game, actually. In fact, last year, the team finished 6th in the nation in goals against average, yielding just 6 goals all season. The team also tied the school records for shutouts with 13. You've both played a large part in that success. So can you talk a little bit about, I guess either of you, if you just want to talk about some of the factors that have led to this program playing so well defensively, really year in, year out here over about the past 6 years or more?
Well, obviously, we've always had great defensive players. Eliza Gray just graduated, All-American, goalkeeper, one of the big reasons, and of course, Kaylin DiGiacomo. But even when we were freshmen, we had Mallory Shear, center back, and every year we're like, oh my gosh, this is such a big loss. What are we going to do? But every year someone steps up and fills that gap, whether it was Nova, Meg Nova, and then Kaylin. So I just think it's a culture within us that we're just that strong defensive team, and it's just so consistent every year. So.
Well, taking a look at the offensive end, the team did graduate its leading goal scorer from last season in Lauren Shapiro, who scored 7 goals a year ago, and has been one of the team's top scoring threats over the last couple of years. But you do return 8 different players who scored at least 1 goal last season. So I guess the question would be, do you feel there's maybe some balance to the offense this season with so many different players coming back who have shown the ability to score?
Yeah, me and Hannah were actually talking about this 20 minutes ago or so. Coming off of our past 2 scrimmages, we've had, I guess, 3 or 4 different scorers, and I think that's going to be huge for us this year. Girls are really stepping up, like we've been saying, and it's been such a good opportunity for us, and we're really hoping to get to the attacking third and using them throughout the season. One
of the last things I've been asking some of our fall student athletes is simply what is it about your sport here at Gettysburg College that you like the best? So I don't know, what is it about Gettysburg women's soccer that drives you and keeps you going? We always talk about it in meetings with our coach, and people always send letters back saying how much they love playing on Clark. And I don't know what it is about playing on Clark that makes it so exciting, but every day whenever we step on that field, we were just so excited to play. If we're on the grass, we're we don't really want to practice today, but the second we step on Clark, it is just it's game time, and we're so pumped to play.
Yeah, we've always said this. There's literally nothing better than finishing off the day playing soccer with a Gettysburg sunset in the background. And then just beside that, it's just the players, and it's showing up every day, playing with some of your best friends, and yeah.
Well, there's certainly a lot of things to be excited about playing for this program. Between the success you've had recently, the culture of the team, the facility, playing in the shadow of the battlefield, a field that was just newly resurfaced last year. So just a lot of wonderful things going on for Gettysburg women's soccer. So Hannah and Julia, thank you so much for taking your time to join us here on Facebook Live, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
So the Bullets open their season this weekend, as do all of our fall teams. They will open on the road when they travel to Lebanon Valley College for a non-conference match. The team plays its home opener on Wednesday when they host Stevenson University at 7 p.m. under the lights at Clark Field. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in this afternoon, and throughout all of our preseason interviews. This broadcast, as usual, will be archived here on the Gettysburg Athletics Facebook page. If you choose to watch it again, be sure to stay tuned for additional Facebook Live interviews and events throughout the rest of the season. Once again, thank you for following along. Have a great afternoon and a great weekend.